June 11, 1955, the Le Mans circuit in France was about to host its highly anticipated 24-hour endurance race. No one could have predicted that this race would turn into a horrifying disaster, claiming 84 lives. What's even more shocking is that, after the accident, the race didn't stop. The organizers even popped champagne to celebrate the winner. Let's go back to that fateful day. The weather was clear and sunny. Around 300,000 spectators flooded into the venue, packing the grandstands to capacity. Everyone was eager to witness the crowning of this year's champion. The lineup that year was unprecedented. On top of elite drivers, three automotive giants were locked in fierce competition. Ferrari, the defending champion, had unquestioned dominance. Jaguar poured in every resource they had, determined to reclaim the trophy. And Mercedes-Benz brought their brand new 300 SLR, a silver arrow that became the most talked about car on the track, at 4 in the afternoon. The race officially got underway. The deafening roar of engines instantly electrified the crowd. But just over 2 hours later, disaster struck. On lap 35, Mike Hawthorne, driving the No. 6 Jaguar, was preparing to pull into the pits to refuel. He slammed on the brakes, trying to hit the perfect window, but that move triggered a devastating chain reaction. Right behind him was the No. 26 Austin Healey, driven by Lance Macklin. When Macklin saw the Jaguar suddenly slow down ahead of him, he immediately swerved left to avoid it. His car was equipped with old-fashioned drum brakes that simply couldn't provide enough stopping power. Macklin's car slid uncontrollably toward the center of the track. At that exact moment, the No. 20 Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR was closing in at 150 miles per hour. Its driver, Pierre Levey, had no time to react. His car slammed directly into the rear of Macklin's vehicle, launching into the air like it had hit a ramp. After a thunderous explosion, the Mercedes smashed into the barrier, flipping and disintegrating mid-air. Pierre Levey was thrown from the car and landed hard in a ditch, his skull crushed, killed instantly. But the real killer was the flying debris. The front axle, engine, and hood ripped apart and rocketed toward the packed grandstands, engulfed in flames. Razor-sharp shards of metal tore through the crowd like a scythe, decapitating dozens of spectators in an instant. Burning wreckage rained down on the audience like a firestorm. The grandstands erupted in blood-curdling screams, but the disaster was far from over. The shattered remains of the car scattered across the track, and the ruptured fuel tank sent gasoline spilling everywhere. The fire spread rapidly. What made it even worse was that the Mercedes body was largely made of magnesium alloy. Once magnesium catches fire, it burns at extreme temperatures and is nearly impossible to extinguish. When rescue crews tried to douse the flames with water, the fire only raged harder. A searing fireball consumed both the track and the grandstands. Spectators panicked, scrambling in every direction for cover. The blaze burned for hours until nothing remained but a twisted metal skeleton. Only 7 doctors were on site. They fought desperately to save the wounded, but it was nowhere near enough. Eyewitnesses later recalled that many people who escaped the inferno rushed right back in to save others. Uninjured spectators used advertising banners as makeshift stretchers to carry away the wounded and the dead. Some frantically searched through the wreckage for their loved ones. Priests even arrived to perform last rites for the dying. It all happened so fast and so brutally that everyone just stood there in stunned silence. What's most unbelievable is that in the middle of this living hell, the race kept going. Many people wonder what happened to the driver of the No. 6 Jaguar, the one who arguably set everything in motion. Here's what happened. Right after Hawthorne made his emergency pit stop, his team immediately ordered him to complete another lap to stay clear of the chaos and danger on the track. When he pulled into the pits the next time around, what he saw shattered him completely. His rival Pierre was dead. Dozens of spectators had been decapitated by flying car parts. Blood and severed limbs were scattered everywhere. Hawthorne had lost all desire to keep racing, but under intense pressure from his superiors, he was forced back onto the track. In that moment, his mind was in total chaos. A crushing sense of guilt cut through him like a knife. He was convinced that this entire catastrophe was his fault. Meanwhile, Pierre's fellow driver and friend, John Fitch, stayed by Pierre's wife's side, doing everything he could to comfort her. They had both witnessed that horrifying scene with their own eyes. The wife watched as her husband's body was covered with a banner, her heart completely torn apart by grief. Everyone assumed the tragedy would immediately bring the race to a halt, but the organizers had no intention of stopping it. Their excuse was that if tens of thousands of spectators all left at once, the surrounding roads would gridlock, blocking emergency vehicles on the other side of the track. John overheard reporters tallying the death count. He learned that 48 deaths had already been confirmed, and the number was still climbing. He was absolutely terrified. He immediately called his family to let them know he was safe. Then he rushed back to the pits and strongly urged the Mercedes team to withdraw from the race immediately. He warned them that no no matter what the final standings were, staying in the race would only plunge the team into a devastating crisis of public trust. His proposal quickly gained unanimous support, but they didn't have the authority to make the call. They could only report up the chain and wait for a response. When Mercedes headquarters received the message, they convened an emergency meeting and swiftly announced their withdrawal. After Mercedes pulled out, Ferrari quickly followed suit. Out of respect for the dead, they asked Jaguar if they'd be willing to withdraw as well. What they got was an ice-cold rejection. From the Jaguar boss, he said he didn't want to discuss who should take the blame, but he believed the organizers were absolutely right to continue the race. He couldn't understand why other teams would pull out. He made it clear he wasn't going anywhere. After all, with the strongest competitors gone, Jaguar had the championship all but locked up. They chose to race to the finish. The result was exactly what you'd expect. Jaguar won the championship, although there was no official celebration. Photographers still captured Hawthorne, surrounded by fans offering flowers, holding a bottle of champagne, with a smile on his face. The contrast was gut-wrenching. On one side, the gleaming victor. On the other, the mangled bodies of the victims. They might as well have been living in two completely different worlds. The team basked in the joy of a hard-fought victory. But what did those spectators do wrong? They simply came to the track, hoping to enjoy the thrill of a great race. According to the final official count, in addition to Pierre himself, 83 innocent spectators were killed on the spot. Hundreds more were severely injured or left permanently disabled. This disaster became the deadliest and darkest chapter in motorsport history. Then came the fiercely debated question of who was to blame. Many pointed the finger directly at Hawthorne. They argued that if he hadn't recklessly slammed on his brakes right in front of Macklin, the catastrophic chain reaction would never have happened. Macklin himself shared that view. Right after the accident, Hawthorne even admitted fault, but after winning the championship, his attitude completely changed. He denied any and all responsibility. The reason, reportedly, was that a close relative of his had died in World War II. He had publicly stated that he would never let a German car, meaning Mercedes, win. Those who sided with Jaguar and Hawthorne argued that the fault lay with Pierre and Macklin's technical errors, and that Hawthorne had nothing to do with it. Ultimately, blame was never pinned on any single person. So what do you think? Who's really to blame for this tragedy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Despite the ongoing accusations against Hawthorne, after a thorough investigation, all drivers were cleared of responsibility. Regardless, this disaster cast a permanent shadow over Hawthorne's career. Starting in 1955, Mercedes withdrew from motorsport entirely and didn't return until 1987. 3 years after the disaster, Hawthorne wrote in his autobiography that he should not be blamed, essentially shifting the responsibility onto Macklin. When Macklin found out, he was devastated. He sued Hawthorne for defamation. But before the case could move forward, in January 1959, Hawthorne was killed in an accident on an ordinary highway while trying to overtake a Mercedes. As for the Le Mans disaster itself, insiders revealed that even before the race, Pierre had complained that the gap between the pit lane entrance and the racing line was dangerously narrow, with no dedicated deceleration lane whatsoever. But the problems went far beyond that. The Le Mans 24 Hours had been held nearly every year since 1923. In the early days, cars topped out at around 60 miles per hour. By 1955, speeds had soared to nearly 170, yet the track layout was essentially unchanged. The pits and grandstands had been rebuilt, but there was still no real barrier between them. The track and the spectator area were separated by nothing more than a 4-foot earthen embankment. Cars at the time didn't even have seatbelts. The logic was that if a crash caused a fire, drivers could escape faster without them. What's most infuriating is the organizers' insistence on keeping the race going. Their stated reason was to prevent traffic jams from blocking rescue routes, but they could have easily chosen to cancel the race in the early morning hours when the crowd had thinned out. Instead, they never stopped the race. Not once. People went out on a beautiful sunny day just to feel the rush of speed. They never came home. The price of 84 lives left an unforgettable scar on everyone. After this tragedy, the Le Mans circuit underwent a complete overhaul. Before safety standards could be raised high enough, several European countries even temporarily banned motorsport altogether. New safety technologies were introduced one after another, dramatically improving the protection of both cars and drivers. In a way, motorsport entered an entirely new era because of this disaster. On the racetrack, while everyone chases their dreams and glory, danger is never far behind. Racing tests more than just the car's performance. It tests the driver's skill, physical endurance, and mental toughness. More importantly, each and every race pushes safety regulations forward, all for a safer future in the sport. That's it for today's video. Do you guys enjoy motorsport? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. See you in the next one.